Oh, boy. We are moving on up to the east side. George Jefferson certainly did. What a great show on so many levels. If you've never heard or seen the Jeffersons, I guess you've got to watch a few select All in the Family episodes first. But George Jefferson is a great story. Turned his dry cleaning business into a huge business, and he moved on up to the east side of New York. Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. That really was some incredible cutting-edge television in the 1970s. All in the Family, blue-collar, working-class family. Archie Bunker just set in his 1950s ways, but it was 1970. Daughter marries. They live all together. Archie Bunker calls his son-in-law meathead because he's real liberal, and his buddy is George Jefferson's son, a black liberal guy with a huge afro. Archie just has trouble dealing with it. That's like 10% of the show. It's a bunch of other stuff. And Archie also has trouble dealing with the success, I guess, of George Jefferson. It never gets mean or hateful. It's always funny, but it's real. And then George Jefferson expands his cleaning empire and leaves Archie Bunker's neighborhood. What is he, in Queens, I guess? And he moves to the east side of Manhattan, where the rich and wealthy live, in a high-rise condo apartment with a doorman and everything. And then the great part, there's another rich, affluent couple in the building. The dorkiest white dude available, like a white dude from like Kansas or Iowa, just the dorkiest, squarest white guy. And then he's married to, I think it's, I want to say that's Roxy Roker. I want to say that's the musician who was married to Lisa Bonet. Lenny Kravitz's mom, I think, is Roxy Roker. And I think Roxy Roker, Lenny Kravitz's mom, was married to, so it's sexy Rocky Roker, this beautiful black woman, tall and slender, sexy, married to the white, out-of-shape dork dude. I mean, he talked like this. He was just the most square guy around. And she loved him. Loved him. It's just brilliant. You can't write it any better. And George is miffed. He can't grasp the whole concept. So he moves from, the Archie Bunker thing to the east side. He's got the white dork married to incredibly, long, lean, slender, sexy Roxy Roker. Anyway, I don't know how you write anything. Was that Norman Lear? Is that all Norman Lear? Yeah. Geez and Pete's. He's a genius. All those shows. But that in particular, I loved All in the Family, and the Jeffersons is definitely, a spin-off show, but I don't know how you would say it is a lesser show. I guess you have to give credit to All in the Family, the first mover, and its incredible success. I don't know if the Jeffersons was too far behind it. Hysterical. Anyway, you kiddies out there, I'm guessing like 45 and under. I don't know. There's probably some generation in there that cable TV had a lot of Jeffersons and All in the Family running, or you had a family member that watched it and you're kind of familiar with it. But I think I don't see a lot of those reruns. You got to go kind of hunt for them. But I would go to YouTube and check out some of that stuff. You kiddies out there, the under 45 crew, All in the Family and Jeffersons is hysterical. And I'm not telling, I don't know. I've got friends that watch, they love the Andy Griffith Show, and they'll watch like Andy Griffith Show all the time. That's just, I don't mind the Andy Griffith Show. The last time I watched an episode of the Andy Griffith Show, 35 years ago or something, I guess it's, if you want to go back to like the 50s and just, by golly, apple pie, Chevrolet, and that, then go check out the Andy Griffith Show. But it's a little too basic and vanilla and hunky-dory and a little predictable for me. But All in the Family and Jeffersons, I think, is still entertaining television. But I probably haven't watched an All in the Family or Jeffersons episode in about 20 or 30 years. Oh, boy, that all kind of wrapped up to be a meaningless bombardment of ridiculous thoughts and conversation on my part. Good night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow at 4. We're starting over. I just put like an 8 on the card, Jason. That's when you walk off the green, you go, hey, guys, can we go back to the first tee and start over again? No, I'm serious. And of course you can't, as is life. No, I stand by all that stuff. Archie, Bunker, ridiculous. George Jefferson. They're like part of the fabric of America in a way. Hey, it's 82 and sunny out there and feels like much warmer. I put this on just because you could hang meat on hooks in this studio, which we're thinking about it. Meat purveyors, if you're running out of space to hang your carcasses, bring it on down to the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. We'll hang meat, chickens, any kind of poultry from the ceiling. It's cold enough in here, that's for sure. And then sometimes, Jason, we get the opposite. The walls are melting. We get about a third of ice box, a third of it's hot in here, and a third of, all right, comfortable. Anyway, like kind of warm outside. Strange weather, a little bit strange weather. It's late October. We're almost fading into November. We're clearly out of the summer, yet summer-ish like temperatures, or really feels like about 86, 87 feels like. Tomorrow through the weekend, wake up. It's pleasant. 70, 71, 72. After the sun sets, when I go walk my dog around, now it's like 6:40. It's getting dark quick. That daylight savings bomb is about to drop. It's going to be like 5:20 and it's dark. That's just depressing. Anyway, tomorrow through the weekend, low 70s when you wake up to low 80s. So lots of 70s over the weekend. Should be a pleasant weekend. You get a little cloud cover. There's no rain predicted, but you get a little cloud cover. And then it's really nice. Now, check this out for Monday going into next weekend. Next weekend's going to be more pleasant than this weekend. If this weekend's start in the 70s, get to the 80s, next weekend's going to be like start in the 60s, might get to 70, 75. Really pleasant next weekend. But next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, pull out the jackets. For you folks that get cold easy, get the gloves and the hats out. I'm not kidding you. Monday low, 64. Tuesday low, 54. Wednesday low, 46. Thursday low, 45. The high temperature on Tuesday, 64 degrees, 64. Like kind of cool. We start off Tuesday at 54 and we only get to 64. So Tuesday is going to be kind of a cold to coolish day at the worst. Wednesday is going to be a cold day. We start off at 46 and the high is 58 degrees on Wednesday. So 40s and 50s, it'll be cold next Wednesday. Cold by New Orleans standards. 46 into the 50s in Denver, Colorado is like the greatest outdoor day ever. Thursday, 45 the low, only 62 the high. So next week, especially Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, with the 54, 46, 45 low temps. Yeah, you're right. That is 110% mosquito killing weather, which is such a plus. But also the first little taste of winter. Little taste of winter. We need it. We need it. 8 weeks ago, it was like, 104 at the airport. That was 8 weeks ago, 104 in Kenner. So, yeah, going from 104 to 45 next Thursday, a week from today. That's some, you right weather. Hey, guys, the holiday season's coming up. How about some real natural diamonds for her? With a full room dedicated to real natural diamonds, diamond stud earrings, tennis bracelets, necklaces, even engagement rings, everything under $1,000. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers is the place, guys. Get her real natural diamonds. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Wow, finally. PJ Morton's family doing the right thing. I'm not a big fan of Reverend PJ Morton or his wife, Deborah Morton, who goes by Dr. Deborah Morton. And her degree is from a non-credited university, yet still uses that title. It's just sort of petty. I was on Twitter today. I'm not even going to mention the guy's name. National talk show host, makes a lot of money, had a website, he sold all this. Always mentions that he has a law degree. Always mentions that he has a law degree. I don't know. I don't know why people are built like that. There's some sort of insecurity with certain people. I remember a local talk show host here, not on the air anymore, but used to always, I'm always reading. I read a lot. I'm always reading. It's just sort of like a indirect kind of pat on your back. You're almost trying to say like, I'm intellectual, I'm smart. It's just sort of obnoxious. Like, okay, so the point you're about to make has more validity because you're always reading. There's another host who's on air presently that'll bring up just absurd stories. It would be like me saying, literally, I was interviewing Michael Jordan after a Bulls then Hornets game, or when he played for the Wizards at the arena. And I was like, MJ, do you think you should have drove on that last possession, or taking the outside shot was the route? And he said, well, Corey, let me tell you. And he called me by name. Yeah, it's like we're like an insinuation, like, you know, the Hornets and Pels, they play a few times a year. I'm covering them. This is over a few years. Michael Jordan and I got to kind of know each other because of the great questions I asked. I mean, it's just all this patting on the back, ego stroking, all that. I never quite understood it. Never understood. I lived in Hatcher Dorm, literally in the shadows of Tiger Stadium. Should I say that before I'm talking about LSU? If I'm going to mention LSU, should I bring that up beforehand? No, what I was about to just disclaim is I have no love for televangelists, for these television preachers that are worth tens of millions of dollars, not their church and giving, and they live sort of just a regular existence. I'm not telling them to live poor, to live in a shack and give away, all their money, but to live a moderate life, sort of middle class-ish. You're going to live middle class-ish plus to rich by default. Because of all these things you're doing, all these places you go, you're going to be eating good meals, you're going to be living in a nice place, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, when the preacher's pushing like 10% tidings, all this kind of stuff and getting it, it's kind of insane. I think PJ Morton, Greater St. Stephen's, I think is that. Who was the other preacher, big black preacher in New Orleans pre-Katrina? PJ Morton and one even bigger. Morton went to Atlanta. This guy went to Houston. They saw there were more black folks, a bigger flock, deeper pockets, higher per capita income, sort of abandoned New Orleans. Their footprint is in another place, and they'll justify it. More people, got to spread God's word, whatever. I remember your boy who lives in Laplace in like a Hampton Inn size house, Jesse Duplantis, lives on like Airline Highway in like a 20,000 square foot house. Just obnoxious. Literally tells a story. He's at the Gulfstream plant going to get a G4 jet, like a $20, $30 million jet back then. And literally at the plant, Jesus tells him, Jesse. Okay, so Jesus is calling him by his name, Jesse, to get his attention. Like, hey, isn't enough? oh, wow, it's Jesus. I was confused. I thought it was the other person that talks to me. I mean, come on. Only one God, one Jesus. So he's, Jesse, don't get the G5. So Jesus is fully aware of Gulfstream and man's technology, obviously. And he knows the G5 jet's better than the G4. And he tells Jesse to get the G5, not the G4. And Jesse tells the story, and it's funny, and the crowd not only loves it and laughs at it, they donate and they believe it because they want to believe it. They want to believe, they're hoping it's true. I mean, it's my faith. If you're a non-believer, that's fine. That's your choice. That's not my choice is I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I'm Christian. I'm Catholic in New Orleans. That's my faith. That's my choice. But I think there is a perversion by these mega preachers that live flying around in the private jets and the big houses and all that stuff. And I think PJ Morton, sadly in inner city New Orleans, to me and his wife, doctor, and she's not a doctor, does not have a PhD from a accredited university. I mean, call me Corey doctor. Jason, we had 5 minutes of class. And he said, Corey, incredible. I honor you a doctorate from my unaccredited university. No, they're not rich. They're sort of borderline wealthy. Tens of millions of dollars. They've had cash flow for a long, long time. Living really well off of a bunch of middle class to lower middle class and even like upper poor people, giving just a few dollars, what they really need, to PJ Morton. And I'm not dogging PJ Morton exclusively. I mentioned Jesse Duplantis. There's a bunch out there. And there's some mega church preachers that are righteous, that live a moderate life, that are giving back. That's all they do. That's all they're focused on is God's work 24/7. They talk the talk and they walk the walk. They're not making up stories that Jesus told me to get a Gulfstream G5 jet, not the G4. He told me, if you're going to get the Mercedes, don't get the 6-cylinder. Don't even get the V8. Get the 12-cylinder. Go all out. Now, Jesus isn't telling a preacher that. PJ Morton's family finally doing the right thing. They've owned Buddy Bolden's house and the house next door since 2008. I think they bought these houses strictly as an investment. They saw 2 old shotguns on First Street, Central City. They thought they could go in there and put 40 grand into each one and rent them out and make their money back and more real quickly. And I'm not saying that's bad or wrong. That a lot of people do that type of thing, kind of twin doubles right next door to each other. So they bought both of them. They've owned the site for the last 15 years, and they've done pretty much nothing to it but demolition by neglect, like this far from demolition by neglect. So easily there could have been a fire because of homeless people over these 15 years staying in jazz pioneer Buddy Bolden's historic home. It's just a very modest shotgun. 2309, 2311 First Street. One of those just shotgun doubles with the front porch. 2309, 2311 First. Right off of St. Charles Avenue, a few blocks into Central City. For 15 years, PJ Morton, with all that money, from leaving New Orleans for Atlanta, Houston, wherever he went, and just neglecting Buddy Bolden's home. And PJ Morton's son is a Grammy award-winning musician. It makes no sense at all, except that thing I think that plagues a lot of New Orleanians, status of money, the amount of money you have. If you are lower middle class, upper middle class, rich, wealthy, it doesn't matter. Cheap and tight is cheap and tight. The amount of money you have is irrelevant. If you don't have the money to spend, you don't do it. That's not cheap or tight. Cheap or tight is, the check is $50 and you're leaving a $4 tip, a $5 tip. And you're driving off in like an expensive car and live in a nice house, and you're screwing somebody over on the tip? No, PJ Morton, I don't know if came from nothing, did the preacher gig, became rich. I don't know PJ Morton's dad, if he came from middle class or was poor, self-made as far as the kind of preacher gimmick, as I would call it in this case, sort of taking advantage of a lot of poor, disenfranchised black folks, not lifting up the community. No, finally doing the right thing. They have a contractor. He's filed the paperwork with the city. It's been approved, and they are saving Buddy Bolden's home. Maybe turning it into a jazz museum, something like that. Finally, 15 years later, no excuses, just terrible. Not good stewards of that building. Hey, you heading to the North Shore? In 30 minutes, Trey Yen opens their doors for dinner. They'll open up at 5 o'clock. Boy, is Trey Yen good. Whole speckled trout, whole flounder, deboned, head and tail intact, flash fried. It's perfect like that. But then ladles of their signature tung cho sauce, flash fried flounder or trout. Trey Yen tonight.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line. Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Yeah, you right. That might be the music you hear on the train from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, with stops in Metairie, Laplace, Gonzales. Corey Johnson back at you. The choo-choo bees are coming. Governor John Bel Edwards apparently signed some agreement where Amtrak train service will begin in a few years, New Orleans to Baton Rouge. They're trying to get train service New Orleans to Mobile. In theory, I'm like, it's just a great idea. But also, I haven't ridden on an Amtrak train since I was a little boy. I don't even remember the experience. Like, it's been like 50 years. And I know a lot of people use buses and trains. I think for train service to work, it needs to be more than just a cost-effective way for, like, I don't know, lower income folks. I don't know of a lot of, middle-class folks around these parts. On the East Coast, different story. Traversing the East Coast corridor, different story. You've got that, I guess an Amtrak train does what, like 70, 80 miles an hour? They have that enhanced Amtrak train between D.C. and New York. I forget what it's called. Ravella, so I forget. It does like $1.30. They found some straightaways and things like that they could take advantage of, isolated track, et cetera. And the train does like 130, 140 or something. Excella, maybe is what it's called. Excella. Anyway, I think down here, you've got to make train service where you're bringing in middle class, upper middle class, people with disposable income. And I mean, it's a train, for crying out loud. That's the beauty of a train. You can just add more cars. Now, the present Amtrak cars, it's like a plane. Are planes more fuel efficient, or are they quieter, lighter materials, all that? You bet. Has the experience improved? If you have money, like lay flat bed, all that, you bet. But as far as the cylinder shape of the plane, getting, in and out of the plane, sitting in the seat, the amount of time to travel from one place to another, really not that much difference since jet plane technology has come of age in the last 60, 70 years. It's not a lot quicker to get somewhere. It's barely more comfortable for 95% of folks. They're in a lay flat bed, still just jammed in like you're in a Greyhound bus. There's just not really major improvements. Train service, exact same thing. There's not really major improvements. I think if you develop train cars where there are hallways on some of the cars, they'd be on the side, some down the middle, some would zigzag. And every car, if you had something sort of work like a movie theater car, where there's a movie theater, there's a bar car with like a few different one bar is just a bar. Another one is a bar and dance, floor. Another is a music club and bar. Then you could have restaurant. Wow, a prime steakhouse car, an Italian restaurant car, Chinese car. I mean, you're just adding cars. And then where you're staying, the accommodations, bigger, nicer, plusher. I think if you had something like that, and I don't think any private entity, I mean, I might be wrong. I don't know if a private entity could go into that business, that kind of investment, renting the track and then make a profit. But I think that would work. I think that would be something folks would like. Doing smart things like when this train service is up and running, having the train stop right there by LSU's campus, where it used to stop, right across the street from Tiger Stadium, like West Stadium Drive in Nicholson, right there by the old Alec Box baseball stadium, by the outdoor football facility, right by the football training facility. The train could stop there, and literally you'd have thousands of New Orleanians, Tiger fans, disembarking to go to the game. And then when the game's over, 30 minutes after the final whistle blows, that train takes off back for New Orleans. You get smart and do things like that. Say you get to go in the opposite direction of Mobile. You're obviously going to have stops like in Slidell, in Bay St. Louis, in Gulfport or Biloxi or both, Ocean Springs, maybe Pascagoula, and then maybe like a stop in Dauphin Island, something like that, before that kind of area before you head on into Mobile. But I think if you had, because that's the beauty of a train, you can just add cars. It's not that big of a deal. And then you just have these hallways. Like I said, they'd be a main hallway, I guess about 3 or 4 feet wide, where one person could pass while another's coming in the other direction. And they would, depending on what car you're in, it might run right down the middle of the car, might run on the side. But you could just, I think if you had that kind of train experience, I know in Europe, there are high-end private operators of trains, but also it's been that way for a long, long time. Train travel in Europe and Asia is way more advanced than in the United States of America. And we're probably way more advanced when it comes to our interstate highway system and individuals having their own car and going where they want, where and when they want. Trains are limited to the tracks and where they go, and there's no going off track, obviously. But in Europe, they embraced it. They obviously have airports and air travel in Europe, just like the United States. We're more dependent on it because they have bullet trains that do 300 miles an hour all over Europe, all over Asia. And they've got like high-end train travel, like a Viking cruise, where it's for rich and wealthy people or middle-class people that save up and bite the bullet. And that's the nice thing about vacation. It's like eating a steak. Anyone can do it. You can save up. You're doing as good as anyone else during that time. You're on vacation with the rich folks for those few days, living like the rich folks those few days. They can't do it any more than you're doing it those few days. It's like eating a steak. It's like, that's, well, how do you get better than that? That kind of thing. Maybe can't do it as frequently, can't live that all the time, but can check in every now and then. In Europe, these high-end trains that are just plush with gourmet food, gourmet lodging on the train, going from one world-class destination city to another. Europe, Europe's like the South. You go from Louisiana to Texas, you're going from England to France. You go from New Orleans to Atlanta, you're going from Barcelona to Berlin. Governor John Bel Edwards train service, New Orleans to Baton Rouge with Amtrak. They're talking about starting, obviously, downtown New Orleans, maybe stopping in Metairie or Kenner, Laplace, Gonzales, maybe by LSU, downtown Baton Rouge. One trip a day. New Orleans, Baton Rouge back to New Orleans. And then see how service is, see how many people take advantage of it, and then they might expand the ridership. But it'll start with one round trip daily and expand as ridership potentially increases. For like going to an LSU game, I would embrace something like that. But like having to go knock out work in Baton Rouge, I don't know. Maybe if you get the laptop going or whatever, you work on that train. Better than just driving where you've got to work to drive. It's not like you can be distracted. We'll see. Don't know if we have the population density or any of that, but you get it New Orleans to Baton Rouge, New Orleans to Mobile. It's successful. You add more of them. Then all of a sudden, maybe you go into like Pensacola, Florida. Maybe you're eventually going to Lafayette, Lake Charles, Houston. Who knows? The rails are there. That's for sure. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. Thursday afternoon edition of the program. Leidenheimer French bread. They've only been baking French bread in New Orleans since 1896. It's pretty amazing. 3 centuries. And they're still baking that French bread you love right here in New Orleans. It's always been that way. Good to the last crumb. That little mini loaf of Leidenheimer, toss that bad boy in the oven, heat it up nice and crisp in about 7-8 minutes, room temperature butter. It's difficult not to consume that entire loaf. Just absolutely delicious and pure New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company for over 125 years. Corey Johnson with you. Coming right back.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, fuller part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint in Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria. The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the Neutral Ground.
You can say anything you please about me, but don't say anything bad about Blue Boy.
Down, Blue Boy. Good buddy. They are open until 9:30 tonight. I was there yesterday for lunch. Met a friend of mine over there, Lebanon's Cafe. Some of the finest Middle Eastern food in the metro area. Lebanon's Cafe. You can dine outside tonight under the green awning, under the oak trees on the streetcar line. You won't be disappointed. Lamb chops, shish kebab. Where do you get that? Lebanon's Cafe is the place, by the streetcar barn. Carrollton at Jeanette. So good. Lebanon's Cafe. Go check them out. Speaking of so good, going to have a nice weekend. 70s going into the low 80s. But boy, next week, Monday, 64 the low. Tuesday, 54 is the low. Wednesday, 46, a low temperature. Thursday, 45. Yeah, you right. That's mosquito killing weather. We need it. That's a good thing. Finally, a little cold snap. Cats, 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 and more cats. I could keep going. More cats and cats and cats and cats. Jeff Dorson joins us from the Humane Society of Louisiana. You can check them out on Facebook, Humane Society of Louisiana there. If you go to their Facebook page that they're constantly updating and you see what they do every day, you'll go to their website, humanela.org, humanela.org, and you will donate, because these people are doing the work that we don't do, that we ignore. You know, they're doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes, saving cats and dogs, kittens and puppies and birds and horses and goats, all kind of animals that people are neglecting, worse, abusing, killing. humanela.org. Cats, 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 and more cats. Huh, Jeff? How are you, man?
That's it. You said a mouthful, and that's exactly what we're dealing with. Hoarding situation in New Iberia. Oh, by the way, to answer your question, I'm doing well, but you know, these phone calls, it gets kind of complicated. Who has a couple $1,000 lying around and space and staff, and you know, trying to pull out 56 cats from one household.
56 cats inside of this house.
Yep, hadn't been cleaned in years.
Yep. Now, folks, you have to understand. We've all seen this show, Hoarding, which is a terrible program. It's supposed to make you feel better about your life. But you've seen enough of one of these episodes where it is a mental illness. It's a sickness where these people take these possessions. They can't get rid of them. They don't know why they're doing it. They live an isolated life. And it's sad. And it can be dangerous for those people. Mold, mildew, things of that nature. Instead of material objects like worthless crap that needs to be thrown away, they're live animals. These are cats instead of material things, yet the same sickness and illness, bringing in more cats all the time, can't keep up on feeding them, no veterinarian, urine, feces everywhere. I mean, it's a nightmare, right, Jeff?
You said it. You said it exactly right. And we don't understand why the owner doesn't get all these illnesses and ailments. Somehow they built up the strange resistance. You and I would be sick in a heartbeat.
No, I've been where you open the door and the smell that comes out of the house of urine, feces, and or cats spraying their territory. It is debilitating. And these people live in that environment. Yeah, their immune system must be built up. It's scary.
Yeah, so we're looking for donations. This is not cheap. It's very expensive. We're having to board 21 cats, and one just gave birth to a litter at a vet clinic. So you can imagine you board one animal there, and it's 20 a night, times 21, and they all need medications. They have ulcers in their eyes. They're underweight, flea infestation. The list goes on. So you're looking at a couple grand right off the top, and we haven't pulled all of them out yet because nobody has room. You can help. Please go online to our Facebook page or on to our website. 10, 20, 50, it adds up. But without your support, these big operations can't happen. Nobody has 5 or 10,000 lying around. But if we all chip in, it can be done.
How many total cats in this house in New Iberia?
Well, 53, but one or two may be hiding. So we're going to put it at probably 55 at the top, but then 5 are pregnant. So it's very complicated.
And how many have you taken out of the house so far?
21. And the other ones are being fed and watered in place because we have not enough room for them. But other groups are stepping up. So within the next few days, we'll be taking out more. These things take time and they're complicated. And logistically, it's difficult. Who has room for 53 sick cats?
Yep. And the homeowner, male, female, a couple, what?
Elderly male, and he'll be charged with cruelty. He signed the paperwork, so we don't have to wait until trial or pre-trial.
How old is this guy?
We're pegging him about 50s.
Wow.
Single.
Wow.
You're right. Mentally ill, can't see what they're doing, don't think it's a problem.
Right. Now allowing you to come in and take the cats?
There was some resistance, but with cops there, what are you going to do?
So no, I hear you. No, it's unbelievable what you have to do, Jeff. People don't understand it. So many steps, so much resistance, time. You've got 21 out. There's still 32 or 33 still in there.
Yeah.
And 5 of them are pregnant. So there's another 20 or 30 cats. What's the average kitten litter?
Oh, 6 to 8. 9.
All right. So if we go a half dozen, that's another 30 to 40.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Talking about 100 cats. 100 cats.
Yeah. Adoptions are down. Transfers are down. So it gets very complicated. And I hate to say it, they're not pretty Persians or Himalayans. These are scruffy, gray.
Yeah. Right now they are, but they clean up and they're beautiful. Yeah, 21 cats, $20 a night. That's over $400, $420 right there. And that's not even the medical. That's just
correct.
Spending the night. So Jeff needs your help. HumaneLA.org. Let's save these nearly 100 cats eventually. Jeff, thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Corey.
HumaneLA.org.
With Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 5 p.m. Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building.
The Rouse's on the River, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans' grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Oh, yeah. Fired up. I don't have to do the neutral ground program in the 5 o'clock powwow. Instead, they've told me to pick out a pastel outfit, baggy pants, baggy coat, some pastel colors. And then choose your vehicle, cigarette, boat, or Ferrari. And then finally, choose your character. Will you be Crockett or Tubbs? Drew Brees says neither. No Crockett, no Tubbs. It's Corey Johnson. You're on the neutral ground. It's not Miami Vice. Yeah, you right. It's New Orleans Vice. We got a good one for you. 5 o'clock powwow, locked and loaded. 5 o'clock powwow on this Thursday afternoon, brought to you by Helm Paint and Decorating. For over 50 years in New Orleans, the painting experts, that's all they do. Paint, paint, more paint. They don't sell tires or washing machines or food. They're not some national chain store with an inferior product. It's Helm Paint and Decorating with Benjamin Moore products. You know, the last 4 letters in the word paint are ain't, like it ain't a good idea to use these so-called coating companies. Want to get ripped off, want to pay 3-4 times what it costs to paint your house for absolutely no reason. Or do it once, do it right, lifetime paint that lasts forever. Never paint your house again. Helm Paint and Decorating. Yeah, those coating scams out there. What a joke. It's not paint. It's an elastomeric coating. No. It's an elastomeric paint. It's revolutionary. No, it's not. It's been around for 50 years. There's Benjamin Moore elastomeric paint. If you want that coating on your house, that rubberized paint, Benjamin Moore has got you covered. But here's the deal. Don't take my word for it. Don't even take the pros at Helm's word for it. Stop by and ask some professional painters that you see painting a house. They won't mind talking to you. Hey, should I go with the coating company or just go to Helm Paint and Decorating? Pennies on the dollar. Don't get ripped off. These so-called coating companies, you know what they really are? That's code for the world's most expensive home painting company. That's what it is. Hidden behind this BS coating, hidden behind this cartoon character nonsense. Who's painting their house every year anyway? It's crazy. It's a farce. I think it's more than an embellishment or an exaggeration. In my opinion, it is a lie. It's not revolutionary. It wasn't made for our climate. It's not paint. It is paint. Just go to Helm Paint and Decorating. Do it once, do it right. Pennies on the dollar, steering the right direction. Lifetime paint. 7 locations in Metro New Orleans. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans. And hey, when you got to paint in Metro Baton Rouge, that's right. 4 area Helm Paint and Decorating locations now in Baton Rouge, Capital City, Red Stick, Tiger Town. 4 area Helm Paint and Decorating locations in Baton Rouge. And just like New Orleans, free 2-hour delivery anywhere in Metro Baton Rouge. Yeah, when you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, when you got to paint in Metro Baton Rouge, do it once, do it right. They truly will steer you in the right direction. You go to Helm Paint and Decorating. 5 o'clock power hour, brought to you by Helm Paint and Decorating. Now in Baton Rouge with 4 locations. About 80 degrees and sunny. The weekend looks nice. Starting off around 70 every morning. Might creep up to about 80, 81, 82. But check this out. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. Not a Coolio front, a cold front coming in. Monday, low temperature, 64. Tuesday, low temperature, 54. Wednesday, low temperature, 46. Thursday, low temperature, 45. The high temperature on Tuesday, 64. The high on Wednesday, 58. The high on Thursday, 62. And again, those low temperatures next Wednesday and Thursday, 46 and 45. Yeah, you right. A cold front coming through. Pull out the jackets and the sweaters. Get the socks going. We got some cold weather next week. Cold for New Orleans. And then next weekend is going to be similar to this weekend, but just about 10 degrees colder. So instead of low 70s to low 80s, next weekend it's going to be low 60s to low 70s. And that's after the cold front comes in and kills all the mosquitoes. Yeah, you're right. Again, low temperature Tuesday, 54. Low temperature Wednesday, 46. Yeah, you're right. And low temperature Thursday, 45. You know what's great? Even you folks that don't like cold weather, I hear you. I'm not a cold weather fan. But the great thing about winter in New Orleans, 99% of the time when we get these temperatures, even colder, it could be 30s. It's for like 36, 48 hours, 72 hours at the most. And then we're right back to like 60s and 70s. That's what's incredible about our winter. Now, we've had some exceptions the last few years. I think last winter or 2 winters ago, we had like a 2-week stretch of insanely cold, like 50 and below. Just a fluke. Like this summer where we had 104 8 weeks ago in Kenner. But generally speaking, year in, year out, decade in, decade out, no, when we get the cold weather in New Orleans, it's just for a little while, a day or two, and then we're right back up to 60 again. So pretty pleasant. It's not like cold, harsh parts of the United States where the cold starts kicking in about 4 weeks, mid-November, and they don't get out of it until the end of March, maybe April. Like 4 solid months plus of just cold weather. Be lucky to see 50 degrees. That's harsh. That's cold. But even then we adjust. You know, it's funny. You go on a vacation to a cold climate. Why are we so prepared when we go on vacation to a cold climate? You're never cold. You got the hat, the scarf, the coats, the gloves, everything. Long johns, whatever. In New Orleans, it's like we're trying to get out of the house with the least amount of clothing possible. And can be colder here because we underdressed than any colder environment we travel to. I don't know. At least that's me. I love when winter's over and it's back to like shoes with no socks, pants, some boxers and a shirt. It's like, well, I have 4 articles of clothing on. Wintertime, it's like 14, with layers and all that stuff. Gloves, hats, scarves, jackets, sweaters. Anyway, some good cold weather coming in. Yeah, you right. I-55 southbound has reopened. It's 1 lane by the crash site. The northbound I-55 closed indefinitely. They've already seen some compromises in the concrete. Now they have to figure out if it's bad enough where they can't open the road. The water wedge update. New Orleans clear through the end of the year at least. That basically tells me I think it's over for New Orleans and Jefferson, wouldn't you say? If we're clear through the end of December, through the end of the year, winter's going to be cranking up north. We're going to get some rain and bayous and rivers and canals and tributaries and, waterways that lead into the Mississippi River are going to, swell that river up, get the cubic feet per second rate way up. Anyway, great news. That was a scary situation, building pipelines and all this crap. I do like how we acted fast and figured out a quick plan, both Orleans and Jefferson Parish. John Bell Edwards signs a deal with Amtrak. Train service. Commuter train service. From New Orleans to Baton Rouge, back and forth, cranking up in just a few short years. Jeff Dorson joined us from the Humane Society of Louisiana last hour. A house in New Iberia, cat hoarding situation. 53 cats. 5 are pregnant. They've already taken 21 of the 53. And it's about $20 a night to board them. Plus, they need shots and everything. Let's save some cats. Please go donate right now. HumaneLA.org. HumaneLA.org.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Ooh, Lord Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Lord Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Hey, Fausto's Italian Bistro opened their doors for dinner 20 minutes ago. Some of the city's finest Italian and Sicilian can be yours for dinner tonight. What are you waiting for? I was there the other night, Monday night, sat outside because the weather's right. White linen tablecloth outdoor dining at Fausto's. Had the veal piccata, little fettuccine Alfredo on the side, some fresh black cracked pepper on top of both. The house salad with the homemade Italian dressing. Some of that hot bread. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian. They're open till 9 p.m. Indoor dining, outdoor dining, to-go orders. Experience it tonight. What are you waiting for? Who doesn't love Sicilian and Italian? Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets tonight for dinner. Be there. 80 degrees, weekend weather looks nice, 70s, low 80s as a high. But then next week, finally a real cold front coming in. Tuesday low, 54. Wednesday low temperature, 46 degrees. Wow. Thursday low temperature, 45 degrees. Fantastic. Fantastic. I-55 southbound has been reopened. One lane by the crash site. Northbound I-55 closed indefinitely. You have to get off at Rudock, put you on the ground level US 51 till you hit Ponchatoula. The water wedge update. New Orleans clear through the end of the year at least. It looks like New Orleans and Jefferson Parish, in my opinion, have dodged the bullet. We're just going to have more rain, going to have winter coming, and you're going to have a mightier flow of the Mississippi River, and it's just going to push that wedge back. The bolstering, the adding the height to that sill, that was huge. That was a big part of it. Basically, the underwater wall or levee to keep that heavier salt water there and not continuing a northward route was big time. Speaking of big time, finally, PJ Morton's family is doing the right thing. A family that I'll make it brief. I think they're kind of scam artists, to be honest with you. I mean, the wife, Deborah Morton, has a degree from an uncredited university, a university that's not recognized. And she calls herself doctor, like she has a doctorate in theology from the Corey Johnson Theological College, just made up, and calls herself doctor. It's just, there's a guy online, big time talk radio host, always saying, I have a law degree before he mentions something legal. Like that's supposed to mean something. Seriously, always mentions it. When you're always mentioning it, it's kind of nonsense. Hey, I'm going to tell you about LSU. You know, at Hatcher Dorm my freshman year, that's where I lived. I was in the shadows of Tiger Stadium. Like that adds to the validity of my comment. Putting this petty doctor in front of her name is just sad. It's sad for Deborah Morton. But anyway, PJ Morton and Deborah Morton, basically, in my opinion, they're these like televangelist types. Greater St. Stephen's and their flock did more for PJ Morton and Dr. Deborah Morton than anybody in that neighborhood. And then after Katrina, I forget, there was Morton and one other big-time black preacher. One of them went to Houston. One of them went to Atlanta. I forget where PJ Morton is, either Atlanta or Houston primarily, because there's a bigger flock and they have more money and they do better and there's more money to be made. Kind of abandoned New Orleans. And what he really abandoned, this is just mind-blowing to me. PJ Morton and his wife, Deborah Morton, that isn't a doctor, doesn't have a real PhD. They scooped up a couple of properties on First Street, matching doubles. They're going to probably just fix them up and rent them out or flip them, make some money. Nothing wrong with that. People do it all the time. I don't even think they realized it. One of the houses was jazz pioneer Buddy Bolden's home. Historic. For 15 years, they've owned these two doubles, including Buddy Bolden's home where he grew up. For 15 years, it's basically been demolition by neglect. They've been cited by the city. The HDLC has come in numerous times and cited them and said, these things, this house is going to fall apart. You have a breach in the roof. You have a breach in the wall. You're doing nothing to secure the property. You have vagrants living in there. House could catch fire. They're cooking inside. All of this. They're told it's Buddy Bolden's house a few years in. Still, years and years pass, almost 15 years. Here's the crazy part. P.J. Morton's son is a Grammy Award-winning musician. This is a jazz pioneer's house, Buddy Bolden. I mean, if P.J. Morton and his son can't relate to this project to secure this house over the last 15 years, there's something fundamentally wrong with them. Now, I already think there is something fundamentally wrong with them. I think they're shysters. I think it's a gimmick. I think it isn't preaching for the benefit of the flock and God's message. It's how to make money. And when petty Deborah Morton gets this BS PhD and calls herself a doctor to add more oomph, Reverend P.J. Morton and Dr. Deborah Morton. You know, it's nonsense. It's a sham. It's a gimmick. Hey, it didn't limited to the black community. Probably less in the black community than the white community. I know that for sure. Look at Jesse Duplantis, that obnoxious house on Airline Highway. What, in Laplace? It's about 25,000 square feet. It's a friggin' Hampton Inn. That's where he lives. His story that his flock ate up and wrote checks and gave money to, laughing like crazy because they're like children. They want to believe. They hope to believe. Jesse Duplantis at the Gulfstream plant, going to buy a Gulfstream jet, brand new, not a used one, brand new from the plant. Tells the story. I'm at the plant walking through the halls of Gulfstream. And Jesus says to me, Jesse, don't get the Gulfstream G4, get the Gulfstream G5. It goes longer. You can do more with it. Spread the word better, more effectively, more efficiently. Don't get the G4, get the G5. Jesse Duplantis tells this story. The flock eats it up. They all laugh. And he says it like it's a true story. Like, I have faith. You can not have faith. You can have faith. That's fine. My faith is Jesus, Christianity, Catholicism is how I was raised in New Orleans. Jesus ain't going, hey, Jesse, don't get a G4 Gulfstream, get a G5? Seriously. Just obnoxious Jesse Duplantis. Rich, wealthy. Flies in Gulfstream jets, V12 Mercedes, BMWs, because Jesus said the V6, the V8 ain't enough. I mean, just crap like that, and folks eat that up. Hey, to each his own. It's America. You want to give 10% of your hard-earned money to Jesse Duplantis so he can eat steak and lobster and fly to Vegas and do stuff like that? Go for it. Makes you happy, do it. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just telling you it's a farce. Do whatever you like. It's America. P.J. Morton cut out of that same cloth. Katrina hits, beelines to Atlanta, Houston, wherever. And my God, more black people here. Deeper pockets, more educated, more affluent, better paying job, more of them work. Bigger church, bigger flock, bigger taking. New Orleans, what? Who? What? And then the sinful behavior of the historic Buddy Bolden home. That they are fortunate, they're lucky. Look at these morons, these jerks, this Miro Foundation in St. Bernard. Those hacks, those vultures, they weren't as lucky. The historic LeBeau Plantation, a fantastic house, boarded up and abandoned. There should have been a chain link fence around it. There should have been power to the house where it was lit up at night. There should have been motion detectors around that historic structure. If you're not going to fix it up, secure it at least. Instead, vagrants went in there, lit a little fire, burned it to the ground, lost forever. 200-year-old, huge plantation home at the end of Friscoville on the river by Domino Sugar. I think Domino Sugar just has big containers in the yard now because the house isn't there anymore. No, the Miro Foundation didn't step up, didn't do the right thing. $250 million. All these local St. Bernard vultures on the board getting rich. Jack Stevens, all these other hacks. Gutierrez, bunch of jokers. Screwing over the citizens of St. Bernard. That's who are supposed to be the beneficiaries of the Miro estate, $250 million. Instead, typical Louisiana, these vultures, the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. And that historic LeBeau plantation, something easy to secure, they ignored it, and it burned to the ground. P.J. Morton is lucky, is fortunate. For 15 years, vagrants in and out, demolition by neglect, constantly being cited. No, the historic Buddy Bolden home still stands. But finally, they're doing the right thing, have hired a contractor. He's filed with the city. They're starting to redo the house, make it a jazz museum, maybe a music studio. You would think so, since the son's a Grammy Award winner. Where has he been on all of this? How has he allowed this to be neglected? All the success that he has had as a musician, that he earned, all the success that his father and mother had financially that they did not earn, that they scammed, in my opinion, and they can't fix up this Buddy Bolden house. They let it go for 15 years. No, they're lucky. Unlike the Miro folks who weren't so fortunate. No, that is sinful what P.J. Morton's done with this Buddy Bolden house for 15 years. And the Miro folks, I don't know how you put your head down at night. I remember going to see Joe Miro 30 years ago. He was very, up in age. Had someone that knew him, got an appointment for me to go see him, never got to see him. These vultures just circling over this guy, waiting for him to die. Sad, pathetic. The Miro Foundation folks, I think on that board pull $60,000 a year. That's pretty good money. $5,000 a month. I think they meet once a month and sometimes don't even meet. And what do they really do for St. Bernard? A little project here, a little project there. It's $250 million. I'd like to be on that Miro board. I could use $5,000 a month. I could use $5,000 a month for doing nothing. Sounds like our governor-elect with that Harvey Marine board where he was pulling similar money, about $5,000 a month. Why can't I get one of those gigs? Why can't you get one of those gigs? City contract, no services required. Get a check. I want to be a mailbox check getter. That'd be nice. Some free money. Are you kidding me? Hey, thanks for checking us out every day, weekdays 4 to 6. Always brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. Lamarck Ford, the big store. Lamarck Lincoln, pre-owned service, collision, repair, parts. They got you covered in Kenner at the big store, right on the corner. Williams Boulevard at I-10, right on the price. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. That's right. The legendary Ford truck dealership under the Lamarck umbrella. Every day, the neutral ground with me. Brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Hey, you Republicans, you got everything you want. The aforementioned governor-elect, Jeff Landry, he'll be in office in about 8-9 weeks in January. You've got the House and the Senate in full control. You've had that for years. 27 of 28 senators of the 39 Republican? Is it 72 or 73 of the 105 House reps Republican? It is a vast majority, House, Senate, and governor. And in D.C., you got the two highest ranking members in Congress. Representative Mike Johnson of North Louisiana, he is Speaker of the House. Steve Scalise, still majority leader. What more could Republicans ask for? Yet there is skepticism amongst Republicans of Louisiana turning around, of changing for the better. It's amazing. It's mind-blowing. Everything Republicans have wanted sitting right in front of them. Now's the time to stop talking and start walking. Been talking the talk forever. Dogging Democrats, made progressive, liberal bad words. Republicans run, they proudly put on the sign conservative. Democrats run, they never put on the sign liberal. So everything Republicans have done, it's all come to fruition. You've crossed the goal line. But now the work has to be put in. I'm expecting from all this talk over the last decade plus that Louisiana's economy, college graduates moving here, opportunity, about to take off like a rocket ship, catching up to the rest of the South, catching up to Texas, Florida, Georgia, dare I say it. Right? It's going to be obvious and significant. It's going to be overt. It's going to be clear for anyone to see that's barely paying any attention at all. Lives greatly affected in a positive way. More money, better jobs, everything improving in the state. Like I said, college graduates flocking here from other places. What a year, 18 months to get all this in place? And then maybe in about 18 months, a year and a half from now, we should be able to actually see this trickle starting to turn into a flow, right? Because Republicans and all their ideals and everything they've been spouting off for years now, they're fully in control. Yet even staunch Republicans that I talk to are skeptical that Louisiana will be pulled out of the muck. How do we win then? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'll tell you how we lose. I'm pretty confident about this. And I'm willing to, what other choice do I have? Sit back and hope and pray the Republicans do everything they say. I'm not against them being successful. I hope everything they've been touting the last decade is true. I hope Republicans in full control of Louisiana turn the state around, where we're finally following the rest of the South and Texas as far as economic growth, opportunity, influx of new residents, college graduates coming in, economy taking off. I'm hoping and praying that happens. Secretly, I don't want the Republicans to succeed. Are you kidding me? But I know when you have one group fully in control, like Louisiana, you can't say, even though it's been staunch Republican, we're a red state, only Arizona voted more for Trump per capita than Louisiana. We're red, red, red. But we elected a Democrat governor for 2 terms, John Bel Edwards. Granted, a blue dog Democrat. He's anti-abortion. He's pro-guns. But he's a Democrat. And who would claim to be a Democrat that isn't one? Like, who would claim to be a Republican that isn't one? So even in wacky right-wing Louisiana, we elected a Democrat governor 2 times. Now it's in full Republican control. I'm skeptical, but I have hope. I don't have hope. I'm hoping they are successful. But I look at the equal and opposite model, New Orleans, that is fully 110% Democrat run. I cannot think of one single elected official. Forget about like the mayor and the city council. I'm talking about like judges and any other elected person, clerk of court. Is there a Republican in New Orleans government? Is there a single human being that has the R after their name? Is there a single person in New Orleans government where the ideology is conservative? Is there a single one? I don't think there is. Not a single elected Republican anywhere to be seen. And that's why New Orleans completely and utterly fails. And it's not only that, if it were blue dog Democrat like John Bel Edwards Democrats, I still think it would fail because it's exclusively Democrat. But at least John Bel Edwards had some conservative thoughts like anti-abortion, pro-guns. Not that that helps the economy or not, but he's moderate. New Orleans Democrats, they're hardcore left, progressive, loony liberals. There's not too many moderate Democrats. There's no blue dog Democrat. So not even a blue dog Democrat, much less a conservative voice. And that's why New Orleans fails. There's no alternative view. And it would be the clear minority. It isn't like there'd be a lot of Republican or conservative change in New Orleans, but at least you'd have that viewpoint, and maybe, just maybe, some of the simple commonsensical things that the Democrats in New Orleans just can't seem to see, just blinded, maybe they'd embrace. So New Orleans fails because not only is it liberal, it's loony liberal, it's hyper left, it's extreme, it's woke. That's my worry about Louisiana. If it was Jay Darden types, Kasich, Liz Cheney's pretty hardcore right, but she is a commonsensical person, has some integrity and ethics. Sununu, what is he, the governor of Connecticut or Massachusetts, conservative? I mentioned Kasich from Ohio. I'd really have some optimism for Louisiana. I'd be skeptical that, yeah, it's all Republican, but I mean, it is hardcore Republican. Jeff Landry is wacky right. Steve Scalise is hardcore, pretty wacky right, and he wasn't right enough to become speaker. Mike Johnson is much more extreme right than even Steve Scalise, who is extreme right. So my skepticism is that it's not mainstream conservative Republicans, Liz Cheney, Kasich, Sununu types, Jay Darden, a local Republican, for example. No, it's wacky right. It's extremists, like the exact opposite of New Orleans. Just different ideology. Same playbook, different ideology. No, but again, I'm a registered independent. I'd love the Democrats in New Orleans to succeed. I'd love the Republicans in Louisiana to succeed. I'm pro-New Orleans and pro-Louisiana, however we get there. But yeah, call me a little skeptical, I guess. Hey, tomorrow, Michael Hecht will join us from Greater New Orleans, Inc., always talking about the economy, hopefully some good news. That segment with Michael every Friday, brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, a culture of innovation at Latrim. It started over 70 years ago, right after World War II. J.M. LePere walking on the dock, stepping on a shrimp. The shrimp squirted out. The peeling stayed behind. That got his brain rolling. He was an inventor, a creative person. J.M. LePere invented the shrimp peeling machine. That led to the all-plastic modular conveyor belt. Both of these are the industry standard worldwide. A New Orleans born, bred, and based company still to this day, taking over the world with the shrimp peeling machine and the all-plastic modular conveyor belt. You want to be a part of that culture? I got great news for you. Latrim's hiring, and it's dozens and dozens and dozens of jobs available. Just go to their website for a full listing of positions available. Those dozens and dozens and dozens of jobs available are at Latrim.com. That's Latrim spelled Laitram. For a full listing of positions available, go to Latrim.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Did you have any problem with Angel Reese? There was a photo of her coming off the bus, holding the phone with the...
And that was a bunch of bull. That was Photoshop, that young lady. That's social media for you. How dare somebody do that?
No, I was wondering if it was Photoshopped or if it was real.
You just got the real answer from somebody who was there.
It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Hey, y'all, it's Junket Cantrell, Mayor, City of New Orleans. We've decided to hold a contest where you can decide where I go next on my taxpayer finance vacation. I was thinking about Acapulco, but that's in the Western Hemisphere, and we can do a lot better than that. Think Europe, Asia, maybe even the Middle East. You know, if it's safe. You don't want old Junket Cantrell getting hurt. It's all about my vacation, having fun and spending the city's money on my entertainment. I'll be flying first class, of course, and I'll be bringing some administrative flunkies with me. It should only cost the city around $30,000, maybe $40,000. Help me pick my next city finance vacation. Go online, Cantrell Junket at cityofno.gov, and have a fleeced day.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen. Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks for joining us on a Thursday afternoon. Boy, next week, some great weather rolling in. Low temperature on next Tuesday, 54 degrees. Next Wednesday, the low temp is 46 in New Orleans. Next Thursday, the low temperature is 45. We got a cold front coming in. This weekend's going to be nice. Tomorrow through the weekend, wake up, low 70s, hit the low 80s every day. Next weekend is going to be even nicer, like low 60s and high of maybe 70. That's next weekend. But in between this weekend and next, a real cold front coming in. Low temperatures Tuesday, 54. Wednesday, 46. Thursday, 45 degrees in New Orleans. You North Shore folks could see high 30s next Wednesday and Thursday. Yeah, you right. Love it. Hey, Jeff Dorson from the Humane Society joined us at the end of the last hour, about an hour ago. A New Iberia house, a hoarding situation. 53 cats inside the house. 53. None of them spayed, neutered, no vet, no nothing. Lots of medical issues. 5 of the 53 are pregnant. Average litter like 6 to 8. That's another 30 or 40 cats coming. So we're talking about potentially about 90 cats when it's all said and done. 53 right now. They've already taken 21 of the 53 out the house, boarding them for about $20 a night. That's $400 a day. And that has nothing to do with the medical costs to treat all of these cats. So we're literally talking, north of $1,000 a day, I would say on average. And it's going to be that way for the next few weeks. 53 cats. 5 are pregnant. Kittens are coming. Go to the Humane Society of Louisiana website and donate, because they're the ones that are going to take care of this problem that everybody else from New Iberia to the rest of Louisiana just wants to look the other way and ignore. You can do something to help. You don't have to go to New Iberia. You don't have to adopt a cat. You don't have to lift a hand except to pick up your phone or get on the keyboard and go to humanela.org. humanela.org and donate. $5, $10, $20, $50. Some of you could donate $100, $500, $1,000, and it would affect your bottom line not in the least bit. Like giving $1 away. Donate that $500. Donate that $1,000. humanela.org. Help Jeff Dorson and his crew save 53 cats right now. 5 of them are pregnant. So 6 to 8 each litter. What is that? Another 30, 40 cats? 90-something cats total. Thousands of dollars. Spaying and neutering and getting them all out there, fostered, adopted. Takes a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of courage. People stepping up and doing the right thing like Jeff Dorson. Please donate. Let's save these 53 cats, this hoarding situation in New Iberia. humanela.org to donate. Any amount helps. humanela.org. Pelicans pick up a victory last night, taking care of Memphis from the beginning to the end. Nice road win. Saturday night, the home opener at the Smoothie King Center, the Blender, taking on 0-1 New York, the Knicks. And then Monday night, Golden State, Curry, CP3's on that team now. Monday night, Golden State's at the Blender. Saturday night, the Knicks, 6 o'clock at the Smoothie King Center. Monday night, Golden State, 7 o'clock tip-off. Yeah, you're right. Pelicans hoops. It's nice to be a major 2-sport pro city. NFL Saints, NBA Pels, to go along with Tulane and Willie Fritz's winning team. They're 22nd ranked in the land? Yeah, you're right. LSU, 15th in the country. It's fall. Sports are rolling. Hopefully the Saints turn the corner. Hopefully Tulane just keeps their winning ways. They control their destiny. They'll be in a Power 5 New Year's Day bowl, major bowl game again. LSU controls their destiny. LSU wins out, they're national champions. LSU wins out, they're national champions. First things first, a week from Saturday in Tuscaloosa versus number 8, 7-1 Alabama. This is exactly what you want. 7-1 Alabama, 6-2 LSU, most significant game in college football. Most significant game in college football. A week from Saturday, 6:45 kickoff from Tuscaloosa. For the last 15 years in college football, LSU Alabama is the number one single most significant game year in, year out, overall, on average, over the last 15 years in all of college football. LSU Alabama, the elite single game, number one. And a week from Saturday, it's big time. No, it's, for Alabama, it's the clear, national titles in the, in sight. I think folks feel Alabama would have a better chance against Georgia in the SEC title game. LSU beats Alabama, the national title is in sight. But, yeah, you got to win out the rest of your games and beat Georgia in that SEC title game, most likely Georgia. Anyway, no, just exciting. Tulane, LSU playing great football. Saints need to turn around. The Pels look like they're poised to get some stuff rolling. Gotta love it. Hey, it's Thursday. It's a little before 6 o'clock. Why aren't you at Katie's in Mid-City right now? What are you waiting for? The quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. And I was just mentioning all the sports teams. Tulane, they play Saturday afternoon. Check it out at Katie's. A week from Saturday, LSU and Alabama. Check it out from Katie's. Pelicans, last night. How about Pelicans Saturday and Monday night from the Smoothie King Center? Check it out from Katie's in Mid-City. Saints on the big screen. Katie's in Mid-City. Why go to a sports bar with mediocre to poor food when you can go to Katie's, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, with food you want to eat that you look forward to eating, New Orleans specialties, big portions, perfect for sharing. And then they've got all the big flat screen TVs all over Katie's. It's the sports bar that you want with actual real food you want. As New Orleans as it gets, Katie's in Mid-City. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. Cold front rolling in next week. Yeah, you're right. I-55 southbound has reopened. It's one lane by the crash site, but reopened otherwise. I-55 northbound closed indefinitely. You're forced to exit at Rudock, and then you take ground level US 51 to Ponchatoula the rest of the way. A saltwater wedge update from the Army Corps. New Orleans clear through the end of the year at least. To me, layman, we're clear for good. If it's through the end of the year, winter coming, snow and rain. I think New Orleans and Jefferson Parish are clear. I think Belle Chase is most likely going to be clear. They're kind of on a wait and see, but that's a pretty optimistic forecast. Clear through at least the end of the year on that saltwater wedge in the river. Hey, if you need air conditioning or heat help, River City's Total Maintenance, I'll make it real easy for you. Yes, they're honest air conditioning and heating experts that come immediately, but you don't need to worry about any of that. Just know it. What you really need to know if you need heating or air conditioning help, NOLAAC.com. Even Blue Boy says it. Listen to him. What, buddy? NOLAAC.com. See you tomorrow, New Orleans.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333.
Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.